Hello, hello. Corrie here, coming in to move my computer, move my camera, coming in to do a energy update. It is Monday, and we are on. I don't know what day we're on. We're on the 12th. So this is. I just want to check in. I just want to do a quick little live and just check in. Sorry, I've not been doing much in my online mediumship and stuff, but I have offered a service and going to try it out for a month on my website. So hello, Beth. So I have offered on my website now, or on my Facebook page, you can see the links that you can actually purchase your video readings. So I am going to try it out for a month, and that you can purchase your own video 2, 3, or 5 card readings. And that's now available. It's on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, and you can see I made a post about it, and in the comments is all the links. And the reason why it's in the links is in the comments is because if you put the link in the top, nobody sees the message. Don't know why. So yes. So that's where it is. Hello. Hi, Adriana and Heather and Marissa. Hello. And Lindsay. Hi. Just talking to Lindsay. And Auntie Jack. Hello. So I haven't been doing quite as much in here, because when I did offer out the video readings, they went like wildfire. And so I ended up doing a whole lot of those emailed video readings. So it's another option for people that may not be able to always have access to my online booking of my other sessions, my in-person or online video sessions with me, kind of face-to-face, one-on-one. But you now can order a 2-card, a 3-card, or a 5-card emailed directly to you, a personal reading with choosing that I will choose 2, 3, or 5 cards, depending on what you purchase. So all the information about it is in the links, so you can go and check that out. And so, yeah, you can purchase it. It's on Facebook. It's in one of the most recent posts that I made, and all the links are there. And I'm trying it out for a month and see how it all works out. I do have a lot of teachings that I'm doing, so I'm working them around all the other stuff that I have happening. So that's how you can get that's how you can get some of my work right now. Like I said, it's not always easy for people to be able to fit into their budget. My personal one-on-one sessions that are online. So this way, it also gives you an opportunity that if you've not been able to fit it into your budget, this may fit into your budget, and it's emailed directly to you, and you can get my face emailed to you. So you can actually have my face emailed to you. You can just go in and purchase one of those readings, and I'll be in your inbox. And we're going to try it out and see how it works. For those who have not seen my video or my massive amounts of posts that's been out, my second book is now available. So yeah, this first part of this is going to be a little bit about me. If you're brand new here and you have not seen, seriously, do the readings. They're fantastic. Thank you, Lindsay. Yes, I've had so many messages back about how these messages have really resonated with people, which just fills my heart, because it's just so wonderful to hear. One thing to know, that if you purchase them, any further questions that you have after, I don't respond to those because it's what comes through is what you get. And if you want to know more, then you purchase another reading. So, but my second book is out. So this is My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. If you're brand new here, if you're new to my lives and this is your first time here, then my whole work is called More Than Existing. And this is my first book. And so we are more than our suffering. We're more than our pain stories. We're more than the past. We're so much more. And so this was about making a choice to more than just exist. It's ownership and responsibility. This is my new book, and this is My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. This is now available. Both books are available both books are available on Amazon. This is now available to you on Amazon, on all the Amazons. So whether you're Canada, the United States, the UK, those books are there. And yes, I do have people all over the world. So, but you can, I'm sorry, I'm just going to turn off my emails. That's bleeping there. You can now purchase my book. It's available in a paperback copy. It is also available in downloadable copy as well. And so we just released it on Friday. I love this book. I'm just saying. I love that you bought both of them. Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. I love the support. And I share stories, and that's how the work, that's how most of my work goes out. It's sharing experiences. Is, there's so many ways to find our way into a healthier, happier life, and some of the best ways is to know that we are not alone. And so by sharing those stories, sharing those experiences, it helps us to know that we're not alone in that journey. And so this one is about this book. This one is about the ownership and responsibility of, we stop, blaming the world, and we start to say, I'm contributing to my own, how am I contributing into my own story? How am I contributing to my own continued story that is continuous, right? And how do I be the change? This book, this one is about, looking so deep. You start to care enough about yourself that you start to want to look at your own narratives and how you speak to yourself. And this one's about truth. This one's about truth. And this one is, I'm like, the first book was released right when we went into being locked down, when we weren't allowed to exist anymore. And this one's about truth, when we are just swamped in so many perspectives, so many opinions, so many views. And we hold such convictions to those truths. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like, what if you're wrong? What if it's not true? What if there's something? And I really learned to tell myself I could be wrong. This is how I feel, but I could be wrong. Maybe there is another way. Maybe there is another truth. Maybe there is more to the story. And, it's when you become the target of a one perspective view, you really start to open up your own eyes. When you become that enemy to somebody else, you really honestly say to yourself, what if someone just knew a whole story, or if someone was just willing to sit and listen to my story or another side of the story, imagine how much we would be able to release some of the pressure and some of the tension, or some of the hate and the anger that gets multiplied and just sent out into the world. And so this was, if I would love to have that opportunity, and if I would love to be that, then I have to also be that to myself. So we have to be that to ourselves, right? Like truly, honestly, look at our own beliefs, the world that we've created around us, and finding that new truth. And what if there is a new truth? What if there's a bigger perspective? What if there's a broader perspective? What if there's something else? Your book arrives tomorrow. Yay, Ellie. Yay. And so this is my story and my journeys, and they're all mishmash of stories that come in, and using that as an opportunity. Every experience is an opportunity for us to take the lessons and the blessings, and for us to do better, to be better, and to be a part of becoming a better world by being just better human beings. And that's a piece of the story. And I say, just allow it to be your story, and how it relates to you, and how it resonates to you. And that is the beginning of the journey of working from the soul out, allowing your soul to guide you and be guided by that soul's journey, by that ultimate divine love, and how that love sits into our lives. So hello, whoever is just Facebook user. Hi to everyone else who is joining in. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I'm coming in to do a quick check-in, talking about the things that are coming up, but also speaking about the energy. We have a lot of energy. We just came through the full moon energy. And we are in Mercury retrograde. We have retrograde happening, and I personally don't dislike retrograde energy. I like the retrograde energy, but it has been some really exhausting energy. And I kept seeing like this boom, these explosions. And then I just found out that there has been like, I don't know, something hit the sun, something had collided into the sun somehow and hit the one side of the sun, and it shifted the sun. And so there is like, it's amazing how what happens out there in the universe has such an impact upon us. It affects us, right? And I'm just going to tell my dear friend, my dear soul sister Lisa, that we're here. Uh, and so, yeah. And I'm answering messages. Sorry, there's messages coming up here and there's messages coming up there. So I'm just answering messages. Sorry, just had to clear that out a little bit. um, And so we do have a lot of that energy that's happening. We have a lot of like if you're feeling the need that you need to rest, you really need to rest. If you're feeling tired, lethargic, you need to make sure that you fit time in for rest. And that's really honoring yourself. And that's why I know that kind of when I start speaking and talking, and I know this happened last year to me as well, is that my throat starts to get like almost closed off, and it's not in my throat energy. I've come to realize, I've come to know through some medical stuff that I'm doing with my back, that it's actually coming from my back. It's coming from not my back, my spine. And so it's pinching off some nerves, and so that my body actually needs more rest. Hello, Lisa. And so there is and so if you're feeling that energy, if you're feeling the heavy energy, if you feel like the world is going backwards on you, you feel like you're going one step ahead and one step back, then that's also what's happening. There's all kinds of those energies that are affecting us right now. And so there is a little bit of a still pause kind of happening as well. It's like the earth right now, after this big weekend of the moon and after the Piscean energy of that moon, and coming through that, there is like this kind of float energy, and we're just kind of floating a little bit. And it feels like you probably can't get anything done. You're just like drifting by, just getting by. That's okay too. Whatever you need to feel, whatever you need to be in, it's okay. It's okay. And giving yourself permission to say, it's okay. It's okay that I'm not great today. It's okay that I'm not, sitting on top of the moon and I'm all happy. And it's okay to not be happy for a moment, for a day, it's okay to feel like you just don't want to participate in the world today. Like you just want to take a break. You just want to step back. And the reason why is because there's a lot of body healing. There's a lot of shifts and changes that's happening in our own bodies right now. There's just so much that's happening in our physical body that it's just saying, maybe we need time to catch up. Maybe we need time to just restore and replenish, nourish ourselves. So there is a nourishing energy that I'm picking up on, and it's okay to do that. So give yourself permission to do that. And I'm just reading some of the comments. Hi, hi, hi to everyone who's joining. Heather, yes, feeling such a strong energy, yet exhausted at the same time. Yeah, and that's exactly it, Heather. It's a strong energy and also exhausted. So today I just woke up and I just had this urge to just like Lisa's been like crazy editing the cards. And so I just had this urge to get my last little pieces in, and it just spent all day at it. But the birds outside in my trees was crazy. And I have an Instagram card that of course from Instagram, it just automatically shares it over to Facebook. So I have that to post as well. So I'll post that after this, but the card was Nugimi, and it was the wisdom card. It was the wisdom of the elders card. So yeah. You've been like that for a week, Heather? Yeah, and it has. So you've had retrograde happening, you've had full moon energy happening. Like there's a lot of energy that's happening. And then we've had world events that are happening. And when big world events happening, it has an effect upon us. And having lost the queen, having her pass over, that's the end of a whole era of a feminine, divine feminine energy that's been in this place, in this state of um being in charge, right? And now it's a king energy, which brings in a masculine energy. So this is all perspectives and views of energetic shifts and changes that does happen. And so when a whole world grieves, like a massive amount, not a whole world, because not everybody's for the queen, but is when the whole world it participates in an experience. So when there's a massive amount of energy and number of people that go into that grief or into that change or into a shock, well, that energy is felt through the world. And so there is that energy as well that we do have that happening. And it's funny because that card that I just did on Instagram is actually the underlying card right here. And I always say, we're not we may think, I would say this sense of enlightenment. When you think you get enlightened, you think you got all this information, this knowledge, I got it all, I know what I'm doing. And it's like it's actually just the beginning. So when we hit these stages in life of just like getting somewhere, well, it's just the beginning. We just started. So it's like, as much as I've just the moment I publish these books, or the moment these books comes out, now it's just beginning, because that has now ended, right? Like those journeys have ended, and now it's a new beginning, and now you're like a baby again. So that full moon energy was just like that. That full moon energy was like just kind of giving birth into something new, and now it's a new beginning. So that there was a lot of ending energy that we just participated in. A lot of ending energy, and now it's the give birth to new energy. So there's a lot that comes with it. And as Sid is now having a meltdown, she's deciding she wants to go out. No, lay down. Stay. You're not going anywhere yet. You have to stay. Lay down. Yes. Can't see her crossing there. And so just Corlie, call in the angels, call in the guides, call in the spirit world. There's so much more that can help us in our times of needing strength, that we have to, call in, ask in the power of the prayer. Just give me the strength that I need. Call in Archangel Michael. Corley, I just looked down, I seen your comment, Corley, and it just instantly just said, call in the angels, call in Archangel Michael to give you the strength and the courage, because we only have a amount of strength and courage that we can rely upon. But the guides and the angels have an unlimited source, and they're there for us. And so call in Archangel Michael, or we'll just send them there. We'll just send them your, like snapping my fingers. As if it doesn't work that way. You don't get snap your fingers. They don't meet our demands that way, but they're always there to serve us. So the virtue of Archangel Michael is about strength and courage. And so it's the blue ray of light. And that is so, Corley, knowing that the Archangel Michael is there for you. All the guides, all the angels, all of our ancestors, all of our loved ones are there for us. Call in that angel to guide and assist you. I love that card too, Lisa. And so, yeah. And so that way, it's knowing that, we can't do the world ourselves. And when we're so used to being super independent and thinking that we have to do it all, or that we can carry the weight of the world, or we can carry all of the load. No, we can't. It's so hard to do. And when you get your book, Ellie, I know Ellie's book is coming tomorrow. Post a picture of it and hashtag me. Hashtag more than existing with Corrie, or just Corrie Thorne. Just tag me. Tag me so I can see your book. Or hashtag the title of the new book. How about we do that? Hashtag the title of the new book and my name, and just share it with me. I love to see the shares that come in. Okay. That's funny. So I chose a card to kind of bring in this new energy, this new collective energy that's coming in on a Monday, coming in on the September the 12th, as the energy is shifting, as the planets are moving. And the card is benevolence. And on here, her name was Perphone, but her name is actually now Mary. So I recently made a choice to change this card's name. And this card is called now, it's benevolence, and it's Mary. And Mother Mary, the Divine Mother, a Divine Mother presence, really truly represents that of benevolence. That is like the essence of absolute, absolute kindness, absolute, absolute love. And just knowing that we can, when we can have that without any judgment in the back of our mind, when somebody, so that means that we've released all envy, all jealousy, all criticism. When we can be truly, honestly, and authentically happy for somebody without that expression of and that expression will reveal itself instantly. And I don't know if you know this. This is how you cannot hide your instant automatic reaction of what you feel in the back of your mind of anything that may be envious or jealous or anything like that. If you are in a face-to-face conversation with somebody, that expression will expose you instantly. Most people will not see it because it is so fast and it's a flash. It's like when somebody fails at something and somehow there's the shadow self is a little bit happy that somebody who always succeeds fails. Your instant will be like a little smirk or something like that. And that is the shadow reacting. That is the essence of the shadow self responding before your higher self can step in, before your knowing, before your love, before all of those things. It's like that little child moment. And you often see children do it, but we all have it as well. We're not able to kind of break away from that part of ourselves. It exists. But when we release ourselves and we truly can be authentically happy for others, well, that also brings more our way. And benevolence and that sense of that extreme kindness is that when we can be happy for thy neighbor and we truly are cheering them on and we cheer on somebody else's success and somebody else succeeding, then we actually that amplifies also the abundance of good things coming into our own lives. It just does, because it raises the vibration, and the vibration raises. And then we also open ourselves up. When you are happy for somebody else, you then open yourself up to allow in beautiful, happy things into your life as well. And this is kind of the shift in the energy, is to recognize this within ourselves, to make friends with that part of yourself. Because if two little children are standing and one gets something and the other one doesn't, like, why did they get it? And why, right? And so you can befriend that part of you and say, hey, now you know your turn is coming. You know that you have had lots of good things in your life too. Look at what you've had. Maybe this person has had nothing but hard luck, and then all of a sudden they've had one moment of good luck. Maybe they've had one experience of good luck. And now let them have their celebration, because maybe you've had millions of them, but you're just forgetting that you've had millions of them. And that person may have had a lot more shitty situations, and they deserve this. And this is their moment. And so when we can clear the room, clear the energy, clear the space, we can acknowledge that. But it's befriending that part of us and acknowledging it within our own selves, that we all have that ability to let ourselves get lost in that emotional response that triggers the old. And so benevolence is when we can emotionally and spiritually grow and evolve, to truly release, surrender, and to dissolve those energetic attachments, those emotional responses. So there's no energetic charge to a previous experience. And when you don't have the energetic charge to the experience, you will you will behave, respond, react very differently because you'll look at the story differently. You'll look at the situation differently. And then we don't live in such a competing against one another. We don't live in that energy. We don't exist in that. We truly cheer each other on because we know that the world is filled with more than enough for everybody. And it really does. It really does have more than enough. But the other side of that is that your divine destiny is not taken away by somebody else succeeding or by somebody else having beautiful things or by somebody else making it to a finish line before you. It doesn't mean that your divine destiny has ever been disrupted. The only thing that disrupts that divine destiny is your free will choice to choose to do the things that are for the unhealthiest parts of ourselves, and that is letting that emotional self, letting the mind, letting the old stories, letting that old energy, or letting yourself keep trailing into the repeat of cycles. And that's the only way. And then, other than that, everything is there still waiting for us in our divine time, in our divine destiny. And so, benevolence is 33. And so, when you add the other three into that, you add in the divine. And when you allow the light and the love to flow through you, it pushes out all of that energy and it lets yourself kind of fall into, letting yourself be vulnerable and allowing yourself to be that sense of loving all aspects of yourself, because we're always just going to be human. We just are. But we can be better humans than we were yesterday, right? Every experience gives us an opportunity to be better than we were the day before. And that's the beauty of life. And I just read the most amazing thing is that that's the one thing about the angelic realm is that they are what they are, and we have the ability to keep improving upon, keep being better than we were. So we have the unlimited ability to keep improving up on our sense of our human self to improve humanity. Yeah. Hello everyone. um I'm trying to read Natasha's comment. Clearing someone else on, yeah, cheering someone else on makes one feel happy. Yeah, it should always give out what you want in return. Exactly, right? What you want to see in your life in return, give that out. And when you give that out, it comes back in tenfolds. It really does. I always say if I was afraid of competition, I would never spend as much time teaching, guiding as what I do. If I was afraid of somebody else achieving, I celebrate the wins. There's a lot of very successful people who have achieved, a different level of success or a different kind of success than I've achieved, and I've been there from their beginning. And it's such a beautiful thing to celebrate each other. Oh God, it's such a beautiful thing. It really is. Destiny, you booked an email video reading? Oh, good. I'm glad you booked one. Um, you should be getting yours in a few days. Yours won't be long. And so there is read the messages, everybody. If you're booking the emailed readings, read the message. Linda, we we can be a better human right today than we were yesterday. Yeah, love it. You're right, and that's true. And we can be a better human today than we were yesterday, and then we can aspire to be better even in our tomorrows, right? And that's been my whole mission. My whole books have totally been based on that. Has been that I did not want to exist in that energy. I did not want to hear myself talk and then hate what I hear coming out of my own mouth and going, can't you just shut up, Corrie? And I wanted to be able to find that sense of a beautiful why, a beautiful voice, a beautiful mind, clear out the old and start to create that. And that's been the journey from beginning to end. And that's what I love to do. And that's absolutely what I love to do. I love to be that inspiration and inspiring others to also take that journey. All right, next one. Next card for the energy. And I hope these cards really help. When people are always asking for one specific card, it's like, I love that. And you can book a reading and you can definitely have all of my devoted time. When we do these collective energy readings, there's such powerful messages and such nuggets in them. And if you go back and you listen to the video even after the live, you may hear something that you even missed. And I learned that from one of my students one time, and she just said she listens to every single class several times because she said it's never the same. And it's the same thing with reading those books. There is such magic in the writings because it's channeled energy that it's never the same. And it's funny because when we did the book club for the first book, what was already written in the book that I had written in the book was actually happening in some of the scenarios in my life at the exact time that I was doing the book club. And the book had been written 2 years before that. But things that were in the book was actually happening in my life at the time. I'm like, but I already wrote about it. I already experienced it. But it's amazing how these experiences, when you understand channeling, how things happen in these, you know, all these other realities, because we have so many realities, we have so many experiences that are happening in different in different times and different realities. And so we have these multiverses and we have these altered realities, and there's so much that's happening. So when I'm doing the book club, these things are happening. And so listening to messages again after, you're a different person, so you're listening to it with different ears and different hearts, and it's just magic. There's something magical. So the next card, sorry Sid, you just gotta wait, is the unseen wound. And this is Thekla. And this card has stayed the same. I haven't changed this card at all. This card will have that final look. And Thekla, and Thekla comes up in, she's in the maiden energy. So the cards are broke down into maiden, mother, and crone energy. And she's in the maiden energy. And why is she in the maiden energy? Why is she in that early stages prior to that mother nurturing, even though she is with a child? Is because is Thekla the little girl, or is Thekla the woman? And so when we truly step into honoring all versions of ourselves, is that's when we truly step into the inner child work, the inner child healing, the inner teenager, the younger versions of yourself. And that younger versions of yourself, when you learn to not to hate on or to be so judgmental, you learn the power of forgiveness, and you're able to look back and you just forgive that younger child for thinking that they had to be so responsible, that they had to be like how many times did somebody hear, oh, you just have, you're the older sister, you're the older brother, that's your job, that's your responsibility. And then when something went wrong or somebody got hurt, they're like, why weren't you watching them? Why didn't you take care of them? And a little child just can't say, because I'm a freaking child, I'm just like the other child, I'm a child. And so there's that forgiveness that comes and saying, I see you now. I see you. And you were just a child. And you had so much responsibility. You took on so much, but you were still growing. Your mind was still growing. It wasn't your job. It wasn't your responsibility. And that's where ownership and responsibility comes in. And when we can look back at all scenarios and all situations, we can even see the emotional and spiritual immaturity in those who even look like adults in our lives. And they may have looked like adults, they may have been playing roles of adults, but they may have been so stunted in their own trauma experiences and not having the guidance, the divine guidance, or on the untainted guidance to be able to be guided in a way that prepared them to be that adult, to prepare them. A child who is a child is, at 3, 4, hasn't even got their identity created, because the first 7 years of your life creates that essence of the innate identity. So the unseen wound, and where this unseen wound really steps in, is when you take out those dagger energies and those razor blade, you know, comments that you even make, in a judgment you make about yourself, and you start to release this, or we take out those shards of those energies of what other people may have said to you, and you start to look at the situations, the stories, the narrative differently, is that we have the opportunity to give birth to a new story. To forgiveness opens up space to give birth to a new story, so that we can have and tell a new story, that we can exist in a new story, and we can see through the eyes of the person we are today. And when you start to see the past through the eyes of who you are today, you're able to kind of pull the nuggets and find something. And so you become when you can become the divine mother or the divine father, the nurturing that you needed, that you didn't have in those early years, is that then you have the opportunity to do better than that you thought you should have had, or what you should have had in your life, or how you would have liked to see. And you stop laying such responsibility upon a mother of today to be the mother to the little person that you were. And the story changed, like, she didn't know, she wasn't capable, she didn't have the tools, she didn't have, but I do. And if I have them, I better damn well start being nicer to that version of myself. And I always say, I carry around my little girl. I carry around the little girl in me, and I'm showing her the love of a lifetime, right? I'm showing her that there is magic. All that you've seen through those little eyes that seen movies in your eyes, you were right. You were never wrong. It was true. It was happening. That whole little elfy little world you existed in, it was real. It's as real as you want it to be. Yes, you can believe in magic. It's okay to be weird. It's okay to be odd. And that's the way that I've learned to be able to speak to myself. It's okay to be that. And you should be allowed to be that. And that's when you allow that conversation, then you're including the essence of a truth that you are yet to know about yourself. And you get to know the you that you are yet to know. And yeah, and that's a huge part of that's in all that I teach. It's in all that I write. You really rock. Tremendous teaching. Ah, thank you, Lisa. Okay, and so next card. And I've been hanging out with these girls, these everyday goddesses. I've been hanging out with these girls all day. So I have not really strayed far from the computer in getting them finished. And so yes. Okay. Next one. You just can't make this shit up. We're finishing with the last card of the deck. And that's her name. She is the everyday goddess. She is the everyday miracle. She is that everyday energy. And when you start to honor that of yourself, and you honor it in others, then you start to live from the heart instead of from the stories of the mind. And instead of the thoughts of, oh, I thought that's the way people were. I had these stories and these narratives of people projecting their energy on me. Like when I was young, like 20, 18, 19, 20, when you just start going out and you just start entering out into the bar scene, or socializing in different environments, and the same people you may have went to school with, now you all start to blend together, right? There might be a year difference, it might be 3 or 4 years difference. And I remember walking in one time it was the Pit at the time. That was our bar. That's where we hung out. And this girl came up to speak to me. And somebody else was standing there, and I was talking away to the other person. And this girl looks at me and she just says to me, I had you so wrong. And I said, what do you mean? She says, I thought you were such a snob. I thought you were, and I said, well, that's your thoughts. You thought that into creation. She said, but you're not. You're so nice. You're so friendly. You're so, and I'm like, well, yeah. She said, I never spoke to you and I was afraid to speak to you. But that reflection that somebody reflects onto you, that's their thoughts and that's their own reflection, right? And so people then they push that reflection, they push that onto you, and then that becomes an imprint, and then it makes you second guess yourself. You question yourself like, oh my god, do I give off that energy? Do I? Now I've come to know what that is that as a channel, as someone who has the ability to be a mirror reflection, is that people can see, feel them, they feel something, they see something around that presence, and that is their own shadow energy, right? And that's them. But when you get to know you, the real you, that most, it's not your personality, just so you know. When you get to know the real you, you will not ever doubt who you are, and you will not feel the need to defend it. Because when you know what you're not. And when you know what you're not, you don't ever fall into that, oh God, what am I doing wrong? Or what if I am that person? You know you're not. You just know you're not. And so that is, that comes with the wisdom, the maturity, that sense of of growing emotionally and spiritually beyond the narratives of the stories and the hooks and those shards of energy that have been left on you. Because that is what we do in soul revival, is we retrieve those parts of you that you have left behind. And so the everyday miracle is that if you want to see miracles happen in your life, you have to be the action, the change in your life. And that starts with your stories. You have to be willing to break up with the old versions of you, break up with the stories, change the stories, see the stories differently, and see the narrative of truth. And if somebody is not willing to really, truly, honestly want to know all sides of the stories and to create a narrative that leaves them in their anger, their hate, their judgment, that's a choice they're choosing because they want that story. They want somebody else to be responsible for what they're unwilling to fix within themselves. And when you know you will not, you will know what you're not and what you wouldn't do. Right. And so this is this ultimately represents the divine within us all. And when we can allow ourselves to be in relationship with that essence of the soul of us, when our soul can guide us, because this human gets this one lifetime. Our soul has been on many lifetimes. And when we truly allow ourselves to be not manipulated in our minds, to not be emotionally blackmailed, to be spiritually captivated, and to not to use our own free will, we have discernment. And every choice that we choose is ultimately, we are the ones that make that choice. And that is, when we recognize that and we know, it's how did I contribute into my own choices and my own decisions? And there's a freedom and that sense of being liberated in our own minds and being able to live in the sense of our divine self when we allow ourselves to know who we are. And so I could even allow myself to feel bad that I'm not meeting the wants and needs of others. But knowing who I am now compared to even who I was a year ago, I know with all of who I am in my heart that who I need to be, even when the lights come on, has to align to who I am when nobody is looking. And that means that you cannot empty out from this tank, from this sacred self, and give that essence away. That's how your miracles come in. And so there's so much essence. If you've missed the first cards, really go back and listen and really truly allow this to seep in to those parts of us that have us in that, questioning judgment upon others, and to trust that maybe there's more to the story. And your story is not to be told by somebody else. Become a living legend. I honestly this card, the everyday miracle she is. When I start living from my heart, I recognized that I was doing all of this work and in such a push to create a legend that I thought I would not be here to see these books come out. Because this world can be harsh and the ugly does exist, but there's way more beautiful than there is ugly. And when we can fill our world up with more beauty and more color and more awe, is that will push out that sense of the ugly. It's like somebody building a brick building on what used to be beautiful land. And if it gets emptied out, that nature and the beautiful greenery, the beautiful flowers will break its way through and it will cover back over that hard, cold brick, and beauty will appear again because light is always more powerful than dark. And this is how miracles happen. And so I hope in some way that this really inspires you and helps you in some way. If you want to know more and you want to be a part of my teachings, I know Lisa just posted today, which I only just seen before I got in here because I was in the cards all day. I have a Leveling Up Sunday, New Goddess Within class that's coming up. These messages, I love to be able to give them when I have what it takes to give them. And so this evening, I'm honored to be here. Whatever this energy is that's shifting for us, there is a shift in energy. And we have the ability to be better than we were the day before. So maybe this moment, maybe something that gives you the opportunity to look in and see the beauty within you today and the opportunity for you to be able to inspire to be the best you. When you look into the mirror and a tear rolls down your eyes, you are now connecting to a deeper knowing, and that is the connection to the soul. And that comes in to this book of My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. So thank you. Thank you for being here. If you're brand new, you never know what my lives are going to be because I don't know what my lives are going to be. I channel. And so I ask the divine to give me what is needed, and that's what we trust in, and we trust these messages. And you are also welcome. Thank you, Lisa. And so this is My Truth. This is My Truth. This is my first book, More Than Existing, available on Amazon. This is My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection, also available now on Amazon. And these books I am honestly, finally able to say I'm extremely proud of. The next book is in creation, and the next book doesn't really look like this, but this was always my inspiration to keep going. And the third book is called Wine and Chips, and that one we have in the works. So there's always something new coming, and the Everyday Goddess. So Lisa, who you see popping up on the screen as Lisa Stewart Richard, she is the editor and she is the architect builder and my colleague, my soul sister, and has been a blessing in my life throughout all of this process. And so she's also got an amazing program coming up. She does the human design, and that's coming up in I think right away here. I think it's like around the last day or the last days to be able to register for her human design upcoming class as well in the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness. My little scroll thing is not across the bottom. So you can go to mteacademy.com for our upcoming classes. And you can also go to my website, CorrieThorne.com. You can see all of the updates of everything that's coming up, all of the events. And also, you can also see all the links for purchasing the books. On Facebook, I posted a link to purchase those emailed directly to you. Video card readings. You can purchase a 2, 3, or 5 card reading and get those as well. Thank you all. And thank you for your love and for your support and for always being here. I so appreciate you. Have a beautiful night. I do have to go let Sid out because she's having a little meltdown. For those who don't know, that's the 2 little Yorkies, Sid and Jazz. But Sid was having a little meltdown a few moments ago. So much love. Thank you all, and I will talk to you very, very soon. You can go check out YouTube and the other videos, and I'll post the Instagram video as well, and that'll go over to Facebook as well. Much love. Bye-bye.